have a falling out?
The question is about Benny and the Duck and what's going with that. And you pervert, you.
And what's your contest? You have the Ranger basket. Where can you find that stuff? I want to see what it smells like.
Oh, the question is about the Ranger shower gel. Yeah, Ranger, wears Bulgari green shower gel. Ranger doesn't really care a whole lot about this stuff, but he has, a housekeeper who buys all this and selects his clothes for him, and turns out, because guys do this, they don't necessarily think about this stuff a lot, and so he wears Bulgari green. Bulgari green is sold in like all the big department stores, and sometimes you can find it online. And I personally have smelled Bulgari green, and it's not quite as good as Ranger. It's nice, but it's not quite as good. In the white visor here.
Well, first of all, thank you for so many side-splitting moments. You become so embarrassed on airplanes. Loud, raucous outbursts, and you really can't tell anybody why you're laughing. Except by the book. My question for you is, could you describe your writing process? How do you come up with this stuff?
To describe my writing process and how do I come up with this stuff, and which we all think is actually a little scary. I write all the time. I like the continuity of it. I'm up at 5, and I'm at my computer at 5:30 with my cat and my cup of coffee, and I work through the morning until about 1 in the afternoon, when I like to try to get a little exercise, and then lots of times in the afternoon I have to kind of change hats and be a business person. Once New York is up and running, I have meetings, on the phone with agents and editors and publicists, and I do interviews. I do a lot of radio interviews from my home. And at night, I'll meet with Alex and we'll do website stuff. I try to stop, especially when I have 2 houses. One is in Hanover, New Hampshire, and there isn't anything to do in Hanover, so I write all day and night. But when I'm in Naples, when I'm in my Naples house, Naples is a little more social, so I try to stop around 6 o'clock, and my husband and I have date night and go out to restaurants a couple days a week. And so, but I write 5, 6, 7 days a week usually, and I like that. I like keeping the story in my head. I find that the humor lots of times is the easy part for me. I think humor, I use a lot of different kinds of humor in my book. Some of it is slapstick. I grew up with I Love Lucy. Yay. And some of it is social commentary. And some of it is just point of view. I think that people who are funny kind of are standing at a different spot in the world. They're over here and everybody else is over there, and they see things from a slightly different perspective. And things that might not be funny to the general population, they wouldn't think of it as being funny. I see it as funny. I'm the one who's always laughing at inopportune moments, embarrassing myself because I think something's funny when really it's very sad. And, so it goes in the book. And the good thing that you can do with humor is, you can take somebody like Grandma Mazer, who in real life might be kind of annoying. You really wouldn't want to live with this lady. But as a writer, as an author, I can twist this a little bit, and I can take all of those things that would be annoying and make them endearing, and show that she just has such a great joy for life, rather than she's pushy and has, no taste in clothes, wears spandex when nobody should be wearing spandex. And so that's kind of my, the way that I operate when I work. Yeah.
Does it get harder to figure out the stories? Like you're on 14, does it get harder to figure out? Does
it get harder to write as the series progresses? Some things are easier, some things are harder. It's very difficult. Every time I start a book, I have to entertain all my old readers, and I still have to introduce all of my characters and do a complete setup for the new readers, and try to do it in, you know, some kind of a halfway interesting and unique way. And that's very difficult. It usually takes me at least a couple weeks just to work on the first 2 paragraphs of a story, to try to get them to be, you know, something that people would want to read. The relationship, the plot line is fairly easy because it's finite in every book, and so I just have to, you know, comb through newspapers and television and talk to some of my cop friends and do a little outline for all of the action involved. The relationships, I know what's happening a couple books ahead, but they are absolutely increasingly difficult because I think that the fun part of the series is the relationship between Stephanie and Ranger and Morelli. And now I have another guy in there, Diesel, who is in the Between the Numbers books, and those Between the Numbers books are going to go full size in January. Yeah, with Diesel. Because I love Diesel. I think Diesel is just a really interesting character because he's very special. You know, he has these little extra abilities, and yet he's probably the most normal guy that I write. You know, he's the guy who leaves the toilet seat up and drops his underwear on the floor, and he's a little rough around the edges, and, you know, he just kind of slops along. And where, you know, my other 2 heroes are, you know, a lot closer to perfect. I mean, especially Ranger. If you examine Ranger, Ranger is a really meticulous kind of guy. He's very intense. He's secretive. I think it's fun that I can give all of us a little bit more of Ranger with each book, but I would never want to, you know, totally give Ranger away. The relationship between Ranger and Stephanie is a very, very hard relationship to write because, you know, here she is with these 2 great guys in her life, and, you know, I mean, the easy thing would just be to make her a slut, right? And she could, you know, just sleep around as I saw fit, but, you know, can't do that. Her mom would come get me. So, and I'm going to take just one last question. Yes?
How far are you going to go? Are you going to go up to, like, 100 if you can?
Yeah, how far am I going to go? I'm just going to keep going. I don't have any... I'm currently under contract for 4 more books, and that's 2 Between the Numbers in January and 2 numbered books in June. So for the next 2 years, that's what I'm doing. In the past, I've had a lot of different kinds of product out there, the co-authored books and the reprinted romances, and the Metro series. And I would love to do more Metro. I don't think, right now I don't have time. I can't squeeze it in. But for the next 2 years, what I'm going to do will be the 2 full-size plums a year. And then, but even after that, you know, I really don't see myself stopping unless for some reason, you know, everybody started telling me the books suck and you know, or I got run over by a truck or something. I guess that would put an end to it. But so I think we should get on with the signing. Now, if somebody could help me down off this chair. All right, folks, let's give another really